coworker. I'm your coworker.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna expose our habits. Who's more likely to take a nap during the workday? This guy, accountant. Lou is a nutritionist. So those are two dietitian in the role of a nutritionist, right?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
All right, she always trying to make me look bad.
Because it's not.
I know your favorite color.
No.
Your favorite
a dietitian.
Color. I know your job description.
No. It's because.
Let's see who's more annoying. Drum roll, please. Who do you think is more annoying, guys? Me or Lou? You know how like at weddings, we've been in a lot of weddings lately. So you know how like with weddings they play the little shoe game.
Yeah.
So if they were to ask the question, who's more annoying, if we were to turn our back, I would definitely be like, Sam is more annoying. Hello everyone. Welcome to the SNL Akin Edition. I'm your host, Samuel Kimirabade, and I have with me the lovely lady,
Lou Kimirabade.
Today's episode is going to be everything
quarantine.
We've been quarantined for quite a while. We both are working remotely, so it's not like we have the luxury, or should I say luxury, depending. It's not like we have the opportunity to take a break from each other, but we spend 8+ hours together every single day together.
8+? You spend more than 8+.
Yeah, I know, 8+. The work day is 8 hours. And if it wasn't quarantine time. So we spend our 8+ hours that we would have usually spent separated. We're now spending it together. So we're going to talk about it. So I have 2 questions. We're going to do a quarantine icebreaker to ask these questions just to kind of jog our memory about our experience thus far. Right?
Okay.
Let's see who's more annoying. Drum roll, please. Who do you think is more annoying, guys? Me or Lou? You know how like at weddings, we've been in a lot of weddings lately. So you know how like with weddings they play the little shoe game?
Yeah.
So if they were to ask the question, who's more annoying, if we were to turn our back, I would definitely be like, Sam is more annoying.
Yeah.
Sam is more annoying. All right, so first question number 1. Who's more likely to take a nap during the workday? So we've been working together for about 7 months. You're my coworker. I'm your coworker. So we're gonna expose our habits. Who's more likely
to
take a nap during the workday? This guy. This guy. For sure.
No, the way my job is set up, like I'm working from home, and I know some people got it easy, and you can like work from home and go places and do this. I can't do that. Like for my job, like people don't understand the seriousness of it.
I mean, what is something new you have learned about your spouse's job? So you first. What have you learned?
I think something new. I always knew that you were close with one of your coworkers.
Yes, my good man.
But I didn't know how close. They will talk on the phone like daily. And they're talking about the job stuff, but then I also noticed that they talk about other stuff. And I'm just like, that's so interesting. Because sometimes when I have a coworker, or even with my coworkers, I will talk to them, but there's definitely like a limit or a cap. But they're like to the point where sometimes I'm like, this man is your friend. Like I should invite him to like things that I put on for you, because they seem like the best of friends. But I think other than that, like I've learned about the intricacies of your work, like with the numbers, and they'd be like, oh, it's off by 20 cents. Okay, did you put this on the accounts receivable? Okay, has this cleared? Have you gotten the receipts for here? I know, I hear a lot about receipts and stuff from his job. So I think that's what I've learned mainly about the intricacies of accounting and how like the numbers really have to add up in regards to like all of your columns.
That's so funny about my coworker, because that's so true. I didn't realize that. Funny enough, I was on Twitter and then I saw your tweet where you're like, it's so weird. Sam is really close with his coworker. Should it be like this? And I'm like, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, no, you actually told me like we're not super close, we're regular. And I was just like, oh no.
I mean, we literally talk about everything during the workday. We talk about politics.
They call each other. It's not even required.
Talk about basketball. We talk about
call each other to talk.
Man, everything under the sun. That's a good point. Wow, really good observation.
What did you learn about my job?
Man, I feel like, and this is me, man, y'all need to pray, lay hands on a brother. I feel like I told her out of A prideful spirit. I don't know where I got that prideful spirit from. But I was like, man, I feel like I can do your job. I was like, man, your job is actually easy. I can do it. And then like when the phone rings, I would just like mouth what she has to, because she has a intro pre-script, obviously. I mean, show professionalism on the job. And I feel like because I've heard it so many times that I can do it as well. And then there was this one time where this customer called in and it was, another dietitian called in and you guys were discussing and you had to pull out like a calculator, a pen and paper, and I was like, whoa, this is more math than I do and I'm an accountant. So yeah. I found that really cool that numbers are involved in your line of work.
There's actually a lot of calculating.
It's very interesting.
A lot of what the patient needs, that's just for helping, because sometimes you don't always have to calculate, but sometimes people call because they need help with the calculations, so we'll help them.
I mean that's cool. It's like a science. It's like baking, right?
It's like
you have to have
I have a bachelor's of science.
Yeah, you have to have the exact measurements for certain things. Mm-hmm. You were talking about a 2-to-1 dual cal. It's like, oh my goodness, Lord have mercy.
That's not even two words that go together.
I don't even know That's how much it was complex. You need to go to school for it. And so the topic of this episode is actually a question. Has quarantine made or broken your intimacy? And I'm just going to kick it off to you.
I definitely think that quarantine has built our intimacy. I don't say that in a way where it didn't take effort. I don't think it's just because it was quarantine. I think when this started, first of all, we both came into it very excited. We have a fairly new marriage, so the thought of like, oh my gosh, we're going to be quarantined at home, that didn't anger any of us. I was more so because I got sent home before he got sent home. So I was kind of like, I hope you get sent home too. Like that was the hope back then, and I hope that they set you up with your computer and everything, because that was just it's ease, so that was how I was feeling going into it. And then after spending day in, day out, it just became normal. And I do think that it has a lot to do with, we spent so much time with each other that we understand each other. Like, you know how you have certain friends where before you hang out, you have to think about the conversation before you hang out with them, because you don't know what y'all about to talk about, because you're afraid it's going to be dry and weird. Like, it's not like, of course we're married, so it shouldn't be like that, but generally I can be like that, like overthinking in regards to a lot of my friendships. So when it came to quarantine, we have been with each other. Like, I don't need to entertain you, and you don't need to entertain me. Like, we're self-sufficient, but we're together. So we're able to have our whole work day together, talk, just, have fun. We eat our meals together, we watch our shows and our TV together. Right. So we have ways of coming together, which I feel like makes it chill. But also, like, if I'm really intense in work and I'm like, I really have to focus for give me 10 minutes so I could just focus on this task. I mean, you also respect that. I also, I do, my heart is out for all the parents out there, because even with my type of job, like, imagining if a baby was crying and somebody's calling me on the phone and they're not understanding that, I have my kid with me, so I do understand that it's not, those types of situations don't make things easier. But I do think that our mindset and also our way of relating with each other has always been so seamless that once we were home all the time, 24/7, it was really good. I do like how fluid we are as a couple, because like you said, there'll be times we'll just be joking we'll just be having fun, but then there are also certain moments where you're like, hey, chill, I really have to hone in on my work right now. Work is intense. I just got 3 or 4 complaints or 3 or 4 emails have come through, and these are really serious emails, so let's just kind of chill and take a break. So I do like the fluid nature that we possess in our relationship. I think that's really solid, that we're pretty much malleable to and then I also like there'll be some days where you cook lunch and there'll be some days where I cook lunch. You know what I mean? Cooks a lot for me.
And I do appreciate that, because I think one of the things that I really, really do appreciate about our relationship is that we don't take each other as serious as we don't take ourselves overly serious is what I'm trying to say. Like we don't
take
really
ourselves
too seriously. Yeah, like there's a lightheartedness to us, but then there's also a seriousness about us too, and it blends and it just meshes so well. I'll say also too, like I like the fact that our life, like I like the word seamless, like you said, like it's funny, like we like the same shows, and it's weird, or maybe it's to your credit. Maybe you are better at adapting to me. So like I'll just watch the show and not really care about if you like it or not. And then you just find an interest in it. Yes. You know what I mean? Like
I can find interest in everything that Sam watches. Sam cannot find interest in everything.
It's true. Like it's very true. Like to your credit, I will give you that. Because we started off, man, like on Netflix. And one thing about Lou does not, she cannot tolerate long seasons on Netflix. Yeah. Like any shows that are like 4 to 5 seasons.
It's like past 6 seasons.
Man, she's just appalled.
All you people who love Grey's, I can't get into it. It's just, I don't have the attention span.
But what's crazy is that I actually enjoy season after season. Yeah, I like season after seasons. And remember when quarantine first started, we watched this show where it was like 6 seasons. Remember, we were watching that one show and it was 6 seasons on it in the beginning. And remember, we would set up shop, like our office would be in the family room. Yeah. So we watched that for 6 seasons, and it was so cool how every single day we would get up, go set up our computer in the family room, and then just watch TV and do work. Like I really didn't enjoy that. And then there was a period of time where we weren't doing that. You know? There was a period of time where we were just focusing on work, or there was a period of time where I had to go in the office here and there because I was on a rotational schedule, and we adapted so well.
Yeah, and even during this time, like right before, like during quarantine, my younger sister came to stay with us. Yeah. So we were even during the workday, we were even confined to our room for a period of time. You know, just because like with work you want to just be like working during the day. Yeah. So it got even like more intimate, but we were cool. Like you would work at the desk and I would find somewhere else in the room to work. So.
Yeah. No. So I do think that is a really solid point for me. I definitely believe that quarantine has built or strengthened our intimacy. It has strengthened our friendship. Like, like I'm just able to do life with you. You know what I mean? Like no thought process towards it. Like kind of like what you were saying about like the friend and you having to prepare different things. There's no thought to it. It's just like, it's natural with us. It's just like, hey, like, I'm with my friend. Obviously my wife, obviously, we have our date nights and, we celebrated birthdays during quarantine and different things like that. But just the friendship aspect of growing in the idea of like, man, like we enjoy things, like we enjoy the same things. I remember when we gained, at least I gained, let me not say we, right? When it's bad, I say we. When it's good, I say I. No. So I gained, quarantine 15. No, I feel like I gained like maybe 20 pounds. But then, we got the fitness bike. And we were doing that together. And we enjoyed that together. Like that was cool for about a month because it broke. But that was cool also too. So that was something that we both enjoyed, which was cool to me because it's like, oh wow, this is my wife and I'm doing this with enjoyment with her, if that makes sense. Yeah. And then we started walking more, started walking around the neighborhood more. That was also really cool.
Exercising more in general.
Yeah, exercising more in general has been really good. And so I just like that friendship aspect about us. I think that has really built our intimacy. I think also though, not trying to say that everything is all roses, I know our communication has been challenged. It hasn't broken, but it was challenged. Like how we had that hiccup with that one argument about the toilet paper. And
Sam said he was going to tell y'all one day. It's his argument to tell.
I don't know. Like, how you test certain things? We said it to our one couple friends, and then it was just like, it became a whole big debacle. It led to one thing. I was like, I don't think I want to talk about this anymore because it's not even that funny.
It wasn't. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, whatever. So, but anyways, that we had that one hiccup, but that nonetheless, I mean, that challenged us a little bit. So, definitely because we were in the same space, and I feel like, one of the privileges, and we can talk about it because people say, funny enough, quarantine, people would say that the reason why marriages, or one of the main reasons why marriages were failing, is because people weren't together as much. Like that 8 hour of work, the 8 to 10 hours of work,
you weren't spending with your family.
And that time was necessary for building that intimacy. But now we see that being flipped on its head, where here is like
you're spending more time. I think the reason why
do you think that?
Sometimes it could just be a couple of things, especially if someone is verbally abusive and then now they have to be at home with the person, or even emotionally abusive. Like if you're a person who manipulates conversations, it's like I can't even have a conversation with you to tell you what is wrong because it's not going to get through to you. So I think now being in a place where you're not, I don't want to say stuck, but essentially like you're with the person, you're with that abuser in a sense 24/7, it can be a lot. And you can just get to your breaking point and just be like, yeah, I'm not putting up with this, which can happen, in quarantine. So, I mean, it's great because it's not our situation, but I can foresee,
I can see how that can be concerning because, like, I can never bring anything up to you. And then it's like you're just
not being teachable. So, even, like, going into, like, that point, like, because one of Sam's last question, there's, like, what are some qualities?
Hey, let me ask the question. I like how you did it. You smooth. You're really good with I like that. But, yes, we are rounding up, and the rounding up thought is, what are some qualities, if you're a single person, if you're like talking to a single person and you're trying to, hey, like, you should consider some qualities, especially with quarantine in mind, what would some qualities be? You said teachability.
Teachability, definitely one. Like, you want to be with someone who's teachable, because then at least like when you have issues, you don't feel hopeless. Like when you are talking to someone and they're not willing to like listen to anybody, that you end up feeling hopeless. That's like you about to just be in this situation for the rest of your life. And I hate that. Like I can't even like, I wouldn't want that for anyone. So definitely looking up to like that, having that teachable nature. And then I would say my second point is like not really a characteristic, but more so just even in yourself, try to find ways to merge your life like a lot. Like let's say if there's let's say there's 10 things that make you. I would say like as a single person that you're dating or you're trying to get married, I would say try to merge 8 out of those 10 things. So your friendships, so that way when you're hanging out with your friends and like your friends eventually get married, like that integrates. Like you can include your spouse in that, include your spouse in the activities that you like, or find mutual activities that you like together. Tell your spouse about your job, even if it seems mundane, it seems tedious to explain, at least you including them on like your coworkers, like what you do during the workday. That also gives another step of like interest in that in their life. So it kind of merges all of those, the main things that are important to you. And even health and fitness for us, being in the beginning, that's like true. You got me like more into like actually going to the gym, but I was already in that path because of my career, but our lives were able to merge in that way. And then even because I think about things that were really important to me, culture was a really big important thing to me, and we kind of grew up in the same church. But Sam was really heavily, like he used to really like, not African, but Yoruba songs. And I really enjoyed that, like that just other aspect of cultural, I think things.
Yeah, no, that's solid. I'll say for me, I was trying to find a way to phrase it, but I think the biggest thing I'll say is to, look for someone who is, I guess, vulnerable isn't the right word, but I was going to say communicative, but then I'm like, but everybody talks, but I think maybe more vulnerable. Being more vulnerable. The idea of someone who is open and very open with their life, I think is a really, really good quality. And what I mean by that, someone who's willing to share where they are in many different seasons as a friend, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's very important, because what we see is that, in being quarantined, like you said, if there's a lot going on with you and you're trying to process it, whether it's civil unrest, whether it's, pressure from work, whether it's pressure from external family, now isn't the time to shut down, but now more than ever, now is the time for mental health sake to share. And so I think a good quality is finding someone who's more vulnerable, someone who's like, hey, this is where I'm at in seasons of life. So I think being vulnerable is very, very a good quality to look at, because if they can be vulnerable with people that they spend 2 hours with, obviously they're going to be vulnerable with people they spend their life with.
Yeah.
Hey, so this is the SNL acting edition. We hope you were blessed by it. We hope you're entertained, whatever. This is episode 2, Dose. So episode 2. Be sure to look out for episode 3. Again, the way to do that is by subscribing and hitting that bell button. Also, too, if you have any questions or any topics that you want us to talk about, go ahead and text the number in the description below. If you text that number, we are going to get the topic and we may address it. I love you. God bless you all.
Bye.
We out.